Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Mallor Grodner Attorneys providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. lawmg.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. As boomers age out of the workforce, the need for skilled trade workers is on the rise.
We've known this has been coming for literally decades because today's births create tomorrow's workforce in about 2 decades.
Ahead, we visit an institute in Plainfield that is the only one in the U.S. offering in-person chimney sweep training. The Bloomington Speedway is celebrating its 100th season this year, where some families have been racing for generations.
My grandfather was a car owner. Of course, I started racing when I got out of high school. Now Caleb would make the 3rd generation.
But racing comes with enormous financial and personal risks. And we look at some of the anti-LGBTQ legislation passed at the statehouse this year. We'll have these stories plus the latest news from across the state right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Indiana lawmakers filed nearly 24 anti-LGBTQ bills during the legislative session, up from a high of 7 over the previous years. The explosion in bills targeting LGBTQ Hoosiers is part of a national trend, where state legislatures across the country proposed more than 500 bills. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Lauren Chapman reports out-of-state groups are taking a fight over a 2020 Supreme Court decision to the Indiana Statehouse.
Emma Vosky is the executive director of Gender Nexus, which provides social supports for transgender and gender-diverse Hoosiers of all ages and their families. She testified several times during the legislative session against anti-LGBTQ measures as an expert alongside social workers and medical professionals. Parents Vosky works with told her they're looking at safe states to move because they cannot stay in Indiana.
They don't know how much longer they can protect their child in Indiana. And what they're really saying is we don't know how much longer we can protect our child from the state.
In reality, the fight that played out at the Indiana Statehouse has very little to do with Hoosiers or their families. Instead, it's a larger fight against a 2020 Supreme Court decision, Bostock v. Clayton County, Georgia. The court ruled that transgender and gay Americans were protected from employment discrimination on the basis of sex. That decision accelerated conservative opposition to LGBTQ rights, says Jason Pearson. He's a political science professor at the University of Illinois Springfield.
So they've really been working in the legal arena to try to limit its application, but also in these legislative fights, mostly in at the state level, where Republicans control all levers of government. They've really been using that as a path to try to resist the mandates of Bostock, or the potential mandates of Bostock.
Pearson says groups like the Alliance Defending Freedom are leading that charge. It supported nearly all of Indiana's anti-LGBTQ measures, and the organization told State Affairs Indiana that it was asked to consult on those measures by lawmakers. The goal, Pearson says, is to attract legal challenges and eventually get them to the U.S. Supreme Court to whittle down Bostock.
That's why you've seen such a proliferation of these policies in the last couple of years. It isn't because there's a groundswell of demand from the public. It's because there's a groundswell of supply from groups like ADF.
Indiana's transgender girls sports ban from last year, which was also supported by the Alliance Defending Freedom, was nearly identical to bans in Idaho and Montana. This year's gender-affirming care ban for trans youth shares parallel language with Arkansas's ban. And the law that limits classroom discussion on human sexuality repeats similar language to Florida's Don't Say Gay law. Andrew Downs, Director Emeritus for the Mike Downs Center for Indiana Politics, cautions that this kind of exchange is not new. But what may have taken groups days or weeks to share language now takes a quick email or Google search.
When you think about on what issues would Indiana be likely to be targeted, well, there's certainly going to be conservative issues.
That process has real human effect, says Gender Nexus's Emma Vosky. She says this slate of laws has dire consequences for gender diverse and other LGBTQ Hoosiers.
Whether conscious or not, part of the purpose of the bills that are being presented is to say you should be scared, and I think people are picking up on that. It's okay not to see somebody as another human being, because our legislature told us that it's okay to do that.
For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Lauren Chapman.
Demand for skilled trades jobs in areas such as healthcare, construction, and home repair are projected to grow in the next 10 years. And Indiana is home to the training hub for one skilled trade often overlooked, chimney sweeping. Benta Boutier has this report.
Tucked away in Plainfield is the only in-person training you can get in the U.S. to become a licensed chimney sweep. People come from all over the country to the Chimney Safety Institute of America for classes, either to get certified or renew their license, which they must do every 3 years.
So we're just talking about throat dampers on fireplaces?
Bill Walls says chimney service demand has grown steadily in the last 6 years, especially during the pandemic, and that's reflected in their class sizes, which average around 30 people right now.
There's still people going to college, we all know that. But there are people who also want to be this group who want to be entrepreneurial. And this is a great place to be able to do it. It's a great opportunity to have that hands-on work.
What we call a top-mounted damper. Those are designed for masonry flues.
And the Institute is expanding in the next 15 months, adding another building next to the original for more demonstration space. Rachel Blakeman says demand for skilled trades and training has been a long time coming in certain fields as baby boomers get ready to retire.
I think what we want to be thinking about is that it's not necessarily new jobs that are being created. It is replacement workers as people are aging out of the workforce. We've known this has been coming for literally decades because today's births create tomorrow's workforce in about 2 decades.
State and federal governments have put an emphasis on workforce training in recent years through initiatives like the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act in 2014, and Indiana pays tuition and fees for in-demand certificate programs through the Next Level Jobs Workforce Ready grants. Blakeman says improving employment outcomes is valuable, but lawmakers also need to raise wages in the state if they want Indiana jobs to be competitive nationally. CSIA offers certification courses 6 to 8 times a year and occasionally at remote campuses if there's demand. Sean Peck attended CSIA's July course to renew his license. He's been in the industry for 25 years and runs a business in Colorado. For the last 11 years, he's brought his technicians to Plainfield for training.
My feeling was quality control, and being able to have that meant them following a policy and procedure.
The industry has seen him through recessions and the pandemic.
The pandemic years, I've grown double in this industry, and now it's sustaining. It's not diminished.
Classes and training at CSIA for certification cost around $2,300 for a student. That goes down, though, if a company sends more than one person. After a few hours going over types of chimneys and issues, the group moves outside, where one of their instructors, Russ Dimmitt, demonstrates a chimney fire.
We got a little fire up there. Sometimes it's more dramatic than that.
It's meant to show students the danger this type of fire poses to a home and the effects of thermal shock in ceramic flue lining systems.
You can just ignite it from a really hot fire sometimes, and once it starts burning, it just goes wild. You can get temperatures up to 2,100 degrees, and chimneys are not designed for that type of an application, that kind of heat. So the masonry will get hot and conduct the heat out.
Dimmitt says the role of a chimney sweep is twofold, educating customers about chimney safety along with service and repairs. He says inspections are the most important service they teach in the certification course. Behind him is a chimney designed with more than 100 defects.
That's part of the class, is they'll come out and actually do an inspection of this chimney and see what they find. And it's a great opportunity for them to actually experience it. It's not just classroom, they get to look at it, see it.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Benta Boutier.
Heating equipment such as chimneys and space heaters are the leading cause of fires in U.S. homes. The number has fallen in the last 20 years from more than 70,000 in 2003 to approximately 42,000 in 2020. That's according to the National Fire Protection Association. Well, we're joined now by Lucas Gonzalez for the latest headlines from around the state. Hi, Lucas.
Thanks for having me, Joe. The Teamsters Union and UPS have come to tentative agreements on many parts of an extensive contract, but negotiations broke down last month over a part-time pay proposal the union says was offensive. Adam Yeha-Reyes reports workers at a practice picket line outside an Indianapolis UPS hub say they're ready to strike.
What do we want? Contract! When do we want it? Now! In statements, UPS says it offers part-timers an average of $20 an hour after the first 30 days. Donna McCullough, a part-time UPS worker and union steward, says that's not the full picture.
Each hub set how much they pay. You have one hub, like Plainfield may make $22 an hour. Over here is probably about 18 plus. 16th Street starting off only $15.50.
A UPS strike will likely result in significant losses for UPS and disrupt the U.S. economy. Part-time package unloader Patrick Wood says even with a strike fund supplementing lost wages, workers are preparing to keep themselves financially stable if a strike happens.
People are trying to work doubles and triples and all these extra shifts and stuff like that to be able to plan ahead now. So that way if we do go on strike, you have a bit of a cushion.
A tentative agreement will have to be reached before the current contract expires on July 31st to avoid a strike. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Adam Yeha-Reyes.
The Monroe County Community School Board will ask voters in November to support a school tax levy, largely meant to fund free and low-cost early childhood education. The levy's rate would not exceed 8.5 cents per $100 of assessed property value. That would mean a property tax increase of approximately $50 for a $250,000 home.
Not only does it help educate and prepare students to be ready to learn when they enter kindergarten, but it also allows many families that want and to enter the workforce to be able to do so because early childhood is now available. So it's the right thing to do.
He says the referendum would cover early childhood education for families on free and reduced lunch and offer affordable access for other families. It's the second election in a row a referendum will be on the ballot. County residents passed a levy last year to fund teacher raises. MCCSC will vote on new districts for its school board members at its meeting next week. The three maps up for public input were created by the school's Director of Finance and Logistics, Adam Terwilliger. The aim of redistricting is to even out the populations in the corporation's 7 districts, bringing them to a population target of 17,383. MCCSC's districts have not been updated since 1994. A new casino is expected to open in Terre Haute in less than a year, bringing jobs and economic development to the area. Joe Wren reports.
The resort will feature 1,000 slot machines, 35 table games, a 122-room luxury hotel with pool, 5 restaurants, and 6 bars. Construction is expected to generate up to 1,000 jobs.
They're continuing to hire people. There's roughly 300 to 400 people working out there every day to get it built. So it's a beehive of activity.
Bennett says workers should have the building enclosed by winter so they can finish the interior. The resort is expected to create about 500 full-time and part-time jobs.
Last I was told that at the beginning in August they would start bringing people on board and start that training in September. So, I mean, that's great for our local economy, puts people to work.
Job listings include table games dealers with paid training and a signing bonus. The resort is located off Margaret Avenue near I-70, southeast of Terre Haute. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Joe Wren.
The current Farm Bill, a package of legislation passed once every 5 years, expires in September. But text for a new bill has yet to be written. The bill covers a wide range of issues from rural development to crop insurance and even the SNAP program, which makes up 80 to 85% of the bill.
The argument's really not about the changes that are going to go into them. It's going to be about the cost that goes into them. How big of that piece of pie does that program get? Right now, we're looking at the first $1 trillion farm bill, and it's actually $1.5 trillion.
Cyphers says lawmakers are expected to extend the deadline in order to sign the bill into law before the end of the year. Bloomington Transit wants to expand service into Monroe County amid an upcoming restriction on rural transit, which services areas around Bloomington. Starting January 1st, rural transit won't be allowed to provide trips from 2 urbanized areas. That's because the 2020 census changed what's considered an urbanized area.
You're going to have a group of individuals, some of whom, are elderly and disabled, transit dependent, and they're not going to have means to service.
And Joe, the Bloomington City Council will have to authorize an expansion of BT services beyond city limits.
All right, Lucas, thank you. Coming up next on Indiana News Desk. The Bloomington Speedway is celebrating its 100th season this year, where some families have been racing for generations. And the Monroe County History Center has launched an exhibit highlighting 2 centuries of local newspapers. These stories and more right here on Indiana News Desk.
We care about things that affect the lives of every American.
We are there at the front lines
to get to the heart of what really matters in every issue.
This country has not seen this in 80 years.
This extraordinary moment in American history.
You're making such a huge impact.
Trust is at the heart of what we do.
Now streaming on the PBS app, the definitive collection of documentaries from award-winning filmmaker Ken Burns.
Hemingway, the man, is much more interesting than the myth.
It is a story that Americans have to reckon with.
He's got my job, I'm the champ.
Discover over 40 groundbreaking films that bring our history to life. Stream the Ken Burns collection now with Passport on the PBS app.
Welcome back to Indiana News Desk. A photographer who specializes in Midwest architecture visited Bloomington last week. During the pandemic, he took pictures of buildings in the region, and his social media following quickly grew. Benta Boutier reports.
The Twitter account Midwest Modern is run by hobby photographer Josh Lipnick.
At first, it was just sort of for people that I already knew, other architects and just people that were interested in that type of thing.
But his base grew as he visited more places. Started in 2019, the account now has more than 100,000 followers. During his Bloomington stay, he visited campus staples, including the Eskenazi Art Museum, designed by I.M. Pei, and the Music Arts Center, designed by Evans Woolen. He says IU's landscaping makes a difference in how the structures are presented, that sets it apart from other campuses.
Like, it really feels like you're sort of organically in the woods. A lot of campuses try to recreate that, but I think they did a really nice job of taking advantage of what was already there and integrating the campus into that.
Similar to other college towns, he found a wealth of mid-century modern homes. Some of Bloomington's were designed by Elaine Donges, a self-taught woman architect in the 1950s.
So when people are walking around some of the neighborhoods and notice some of those mid-century modern houses, it's kind of a unique thing that there was a woman designing houses in that era.
He hopes his work encourages people to take a second look at where they live.
I sort of hope that I can just get people to maybe look around and pay more attention to the architecture and the built environment around them.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm Benta Boutier.
The Bloomington Speedway turns 100 this year. Some of the world's best stock car drivers raced on this track, and for some locals, racing runs in the family. Ethan Sandwise has more.
Almost every kid grows up with a baseball glove or a basketball, but not many kids grow up with a race car in the garage. And so racing is something that's handed down in part because there's exposure to it.
In longtime Speedway announcer Pat Sullivan's words, Hoosiers are race crazy. For 100 years, Indiana's top stock car drivers have tested their mettle at the Bloomington Speedway. The track opened in 1923 as one of many rural Indiana courses unsanctioned by the American Automobile Association, collectively known by their dangerous reputation as Suicide Circuit.
Charlie Schwartz hooks the same tire in turn number 4 and does a mighty roll out of turn 4 down into the front straightaway.
Racers have competed continuously for the last century, except for several years in the 1940s when racing was banned during World War II. NASCAR's Jeff Gordon garnered early wins in Bloomington, but fans here prefer to celebrate NASCAR's Chase Briscoe and World of Outlaws champion Steve Kinser, local drivers who use the Speedway to propel themselves onto the national scene.
Some of the same families have raced there for generations and know each other. So, I mean, it's a unique and well-known racetrack across the nation at this point.
Yeah, my grandfather was a car owner. And then, of course, I started racing when I got out of high school. And then now Caleb would make the third generation.
Once fifth in the nation for modified racing, John DeMoss comes from one of Bloomington's stock car dynasties. He got behind the wheel of a go-kart at 5 and drove for the next 40 years.
Yeah, a lot of those are accumulated from wins of modified racing over the years. And a lot of them are from Bloomington Speedway, probably a majority of them.
As you can see, my dad's got quite a bit of accomplishments throughout his racing career, and he's done a lot in my eyes in the racing career, and if I could do half of that, that'd be pretty cool.
Caleb DeMoss grew up at the track, watching his father and uncle race at the Bloomington Speedway. Now a racer himself, he works together with John in the garage and competes with him on the track.
It's almost like a second job if I had to put it in a way.
With a race car, the work is really never done. There's always something to improve your car, or maybe it be work on the trailer, the rig, the shop.
Race fans, one more time, thank you so much for coming out and supporting Bloomington Speedway on this beautiful Friday night.
In the pit, teams furiously prep sprint cars and modifieds for this evening's race.
My wife and kids will be here in a minute, so it's kind of hard to block it all out, but I just try to stay as focused as I can at the task at hand.
Caleb's been very competitive, and he shows, a lot of spunk and a lot of potential for sure. And any day now, I think he could break through and win his first race. So maybe tonight will be the night.
You can sit there and fidget, just tighten your belts and the lineup shoot, but as soon as you go out there, it all just kind of goes away, and just you're focused on one thing, and that's winning.
Stock car racers take enormous financial and personal risks to compete. The DeMoss family spends tens of thousands of dollars a year on equipment, and if they don't win prize money, losses are difficult to recoup. Input costs are rising, and John says compared to when he started, there are fewer competitors, but steeper competition. Despite improved safety features like roll cages, racing remains dangerous.
I've never been injured, thankfully, but definitely destroyed, 4 or 5 race cars along the way.
A young Bloomington driver named Josh Burton died on the track in 2013, and another named Mike Waltz was killed in 1978. Fatal injuries are a rare but present threat in the United States Auto Club races. Drivers continue to accept those risks.
When Indiana Sprint Week happens in a couple of weeks, all I would tell anybody in town who thinks it's not a big deal is to drive down to Bloomington Speedway and look at that parking lot. But is it important to the city? Is it important to the culture? In me, it is. It's an iconic facility within a world.
Bloomington Speedway's signature quarter-mile red clay track is wet and heavy tonight. Drivers struggle to pass, and during one of his heats, John's car sustains body damage. He places 4th tonight. Caleb lands in 5th. But just as drivers have done here for 100 years, they'll be back on the track soon, racing for victory. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Ethan Sandweiss.
The Monroe County History Center opened its first newspaper exhibit this week, highlighting 200 years of journalism in the county. Isabella Vesperini has this report.
Hillary Fleck is curator of the History Center. She worked with the Bloomington Press Club, Indiana University, the Monroe County Public Library, and the Indiana State Library to sort through archives over the past 10 months. Even though it was challenging at times, Fleck says the process overall was very rewarding. She was particularly interested in learning about the former Herald Times editor Perry Stewart.
Through my research and collecting oral histories and interviewing former employees and co-workers of Perry Stewart, he was a larger-than-life person, and his impact on the paper was really very important and really set the paper off on a really great trajectory.
The exhibit will consist of 3 galleries. The Brown Gallery covers the time period 1824 to 1960 and contains newspaper and industry history. The Hill Gallery provides a visual timeline of over 200 years of newspapers in Monroe County. The Rector Gallery provides information on how technology and internet advancements affected news from 1962 to today. Flex says it's important for people to learn about how the newspaper industry has changed over the last 200 years.
We tried to bring you the history of how Monroe County residents have gotten their news over the past 200 years, but then we also tried to leave you with this question of like, what does the future look like? We don't have that answer, but collectively as a community, we should think about it.
The center will host a speaker panel in September on the history of news and another panel in December on the future of local news. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Isabella Vesperini.
The exhibit runs through December. Admission is $2 per person. That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.